So we're here at the RC Clubhouse. We're doing a little bit of JConcepts stuff here today.
Yep.
We're doing a new driver unveiling here, but we're doing this a little different way. We're talking to you today about your racing career in RC, and we're going to get you kind of ready to go here on the track, and you can just talk to us about getting into RC and you know, obviously with your parents and everything, and you can just give us a little bit of an idea of how you kind of got into doing this.
Yeah, so I started really young. I started when I was 5, and my mom just got my dad a T-Max for his birthday, and it took us like 3-4 months to get it finally started and figure out what a glow plug is, and it was not working anymore. So found a local hobby shop like a mile from our house and went in there and finally got it running. And they had indoor it was like stadium carpet track with some wood jumps and stuff, and then they later opened up a small indoor dirt track. So went in there and got a Blitzer Beetle as my first car, bounced it off some pipes, broke like 20 sets of arms, and then just went up from there. I really enjoyed it, and yeah, would go every day after kindergarten. And when I was 7, started traveling to some more races, went to the Stock Nationals at SRS way back in the day, and had a lot of fun there, and just kind of something I realized I wanted to do right away, and just kind of stayed with it, and eventually turned into something that I can do for fun and for a living.
So when you started this, you started so young, and when you went to the Stock Nationals in Arizona, how'd you do the first time out there?
Yeah, I actually, it's funny, I've been kind of working back home trying to get like a little bit of a memorabilia wall kind of going, just to past races and trophies and cars and stuff that I have, and we went back, and I think I was in the D main for stock truck, and then I went and ran juniors buggy, which back then was 15 and under for stock 2-wheel, and ended up winning that, so that was pretty cool. I actually have a picture I was going to post here on like a Throwback Thursday coming up soon. Old what was it, BK2 back then, and was running Trinity stuff back then too, and then we actually had like a little piece of the dirt from the track as well.
So when you were there running, and then what was so you went to the Stock Nats a couple of years after that also?
Yep.
When did you win it the first time?
So I won I think I ran juniors again the following year and won that, and then I think I won stock truck, and then after that I think I went and I won, man, it was such a long time ago. I remember going to Washington, and I won stock buggy and stock truck there, and that was my first like stock 2-wheel drive national championship. So I think that was either my second or third year. I was either 8 or 9.
So when you kind of got when did you start getting picked up by Team Losi, but then later kind of TLR? When did that start to happen?
Yeah. So after my first nationals, back when I was 7, at the end of that year, I got picked up by Losi. It was back then. And I've been running for them ever since. This will be 15 years coming up here, so it's been a long time, pretty much my whole career since I started, and yeah.
So kind of moving in, when you kind of transitioned into the mod classes, how quickly did it take you to get some success in the modified classes?
Yeah, it's a pretty big switch from stock to mod. I ran stock nationals for, I think, between stock and super stock, it was like 5 years, and then moved up when I was, I think, like 12 or 13, and I did really good in mod truck, was able to get a podium in that at the nationals, but I did run mod back home leading up to that, so I'd go and run stock nationals, and then back home I'd practice with mod and stuff and get used to that. So it wasn't quite like a crazy abrupt change, but yeah, my first modified nationals, I have a super good success in truck, and then 2-wheel and 4-wheel a little bit more of a struggle for me. Just being younger and stuff, I was a little bit of a wild driver, drive pretty hard. So truck was a lot easier for me to handle, and I could kind of get away with a lot more. So 2-wheel and 4-wheel took a little bit longer to get that finesse and kind of get used to that.
So when did you break through and win your first mod national title?
I won my first modified national title. I won Florida Short Course up in California. And then my first two-wheel drive national was up at A-Main Hobbies back in 2013. And then I was able to back that up the next year with another two-wheel drive national championship.
What was kind of interesting, and I'm sure you've thought about this before, but I remember at the time, I want to say you were the last person to ever win a nationals with a rear motor car, and then the first person to ever win a nationals with a mid-motor car.
Yep.
So, which is kind of unique in a way. You know, you won that first one there in Chico with the rear motor car, and when most people were just getting into mid motors, and then the next year you kind of broke through and then won again, and you've won several times since then, right?
Yeah, so back then everyone was pretty much running mid motor, and I had tried it, and I just wasn't comfortable with it yet. I still got to go to the track quite a bit back then, but with school and stuff, it was obviously a little bit more limited. And yeah, I just felt comfortable with rear motor, so I just stuck with it, and we made it work that weekend. Obviously, that was kind of like the first race with mid motor, and I think it was also kind of because the grip was so high there. So rear motor was a little bit more of a struggle to get the setup right and get it drivable. But yeah, I tried mid motor there and just wasn't comfortable, so. Took me a little bit longer to get used to it, but right after that race, concentrated on getting mid-motor working and got comfortable with it in time for next year.
And then kind of getting into more nationals, how many more have you won since then?
I've run 3 two-wheel nationals totals, 2013, 2014, and then I won it in 2016.
So, you know, at this point, you're probably one of the, you know, one of the top guys in the class for sure. You know, I'm sure only maybe like you know, there's only a handful of guys that have won more than one. You know, you got Cavallari and the Kinwalds and, you know, those kind of guys. But, I mean, there's guys that haven't even won two-wheel mod that have won worlds, so it's a big class to win. Yeah,
it's hard. Just everything has to go right. I mean, two-wheel is so critical on everything. Your setup, you know, the tires, just the track conditions, and just keeping up with that. And, yeah, once I figured out the class, I've always really enjoyed it, and you know, the finesse and precision behind it. But I mean, it's a lot of work, and it takes a lot of effort.
All right, well, we're gonna pause here. We're gonna get a little track time. We're gonna get sauced up. We're running here at the RC Clubhouse, and we're doing it here today with the JConcepts stuff. And we'll kind of get into some two-wheel practice, and then we'll kind of start again and do a little bit of four-wheel running.
Sounds good.
All right, Dakotah, we just pulled her off the track here. You got some laps in.
Yep.
Running some silver compound tires here at the clubhouse. Of course, you do some sanding here because we're running on slicks. And tell us how the car was working and how many runs you got in there.
Yeah, everything was working good. I've run here for a couple days, so I have the layout down pretty good. So sanded out some silver ellipses to slicks and sauced them up, went out there and ran them 3 times, and just took 1 run to break them in, and then after that they've been really good, really comfortable out there, good grip, and flow really well.
Yeah, I think the plan is we're gonna kind of cycle through, get to the 4-wheel next,
Yep.
and try out the 22X4 here. We you know, we brought a new body with us. We got the F2 body for this car. I think it's looking really sharp, and awesome. You got a nice paint job here from Bradley's Fine Line, and he was nice enough to help us out, get these things done last minute, get them down here for us. He came down, run some practice. But what's your initial thoughts here, looking at the 22X4 with a different body on it, and what do you think?
Yeah, it looks awesome. This body has some super cool lines on it. I've always really liked the F2 design here in the back with the steps. So excited to get out there and try it out. Like I said, Bradley really helped us out getting the paint job ready, and it's looking awesome.
All right, so what we're going to do is we're going to take the treads off here, which we got saved for another event, and you're going to throw on your slick tires that you sanded here earlier so we can match the track conditions. And what are you expecting with the 4-wheel different than with the 2-wheel out there?
I think the first round will just be a little bit better on the tires. 4-wheel obviously is a little bit easier to drive, and the grip isn't quite so critical. So I think kind of go out there the first run and should be pretty much good to go after a couple laps.
And the 4-wheel, you were saying, been really successful so far, but haven't had to make a lot of changes to it, right? The setup's been pretty standard.
Yep. Yeah. I mean, we've tried some different things, but the car's just been solid. We did that initial testing before Worlds. Got a little bit of time on the car on clay, and yeah, since then just been super small changes, and pretty much most of the races I've been at since I got back from Worlds, I've just kept the car the same. Maybe, you know, go a mil longer here in the camber length, or go up or down in diff oil, like, you know, a couple thousand, but for the most part it's been pretty much the same everywhere.
So what we're probably going to do is put the silvers on this one as well, break them in, which usually takes about a run, a second run like you talked about on the 2-wheel, and then I think what we can do is we'll cycle back to the 2-wheel and try the aquas on there or something, just to kind of you know, try a couple different compounds and see how they work.
Yeah, sounds good.
All right, we'll see you on the track here in a minute.
23.9, 20.6, 20.6, 22.1, 133.9, 16.7, 32.6, 21.8, 37.1, 16.3. Flat. 16.4.
Show me somebody's picture. I couldn't do it.
They like commented on his photo.
Oh, on the list. On the
picture.
down one. Yeah.
All right, we just got off the track doing some 4-wheel drive running with the new car, of course, the new F2 body as well. But talk to us about how in your RC career you got into running 4-wheel drive. You mentioned earlier it wasn't one of your favorite classes or one that you did really well with, but as you progressed along, 4-wheel drive became a successful class for you.
Yeah, this new 4-wheel has been awesome. It's my first shaft drive car. So I started, and first car was the double X4, and then progressed into the triple X4, and then the 22.4. So this is my first experience with shaft driven 4-wheel drive. It's all been belts. So that's been pretty cool. It took me a little bit to get used to. Just kind of drives a little bit different. But yeah, I've always liked driving the 4-wheel. I've been close to a couple national titles. I got a few TQs, but just never been able to make it happen. So hopefully sometime in the future, can make something happen. But yeah, this new car has been really awesome. Super easy to drive, super stable. Excited for 2020.
So, kind of moving along, you talked about modified truck. Was one of your favorite classes also, or just truck in general? And it still seems to be one of the ones that you race and you win quite often. Talk to us and, you know, share a little bit about your truck history and racing in the stadium truck class.
Yeah, truck has always treated me really well. When I was younger, like I said before, drove pretty hard like most kids do. So it just kind of helped absorb that and kind of would hide the little mistakes, and I kind of get away with a little bit here and there, a little bit more with truck. So kind of always something that suited me. And yeah, it's been good to me over the years. I always enjoyed driving it. Truck has definitely gotten a lot harder once we went to, you know, lay down and slicks and stuff. Truck gets a lot grabbier. But no, I always enjoy throwing down truck, and yeah, it's always a good time.
So first run out with the four-wheel here, you went with the slicks again, but in the silver compound again. Show us the tires you got here and kind of how you had them sitting on the car.
So, yep, sanded them down and then just saw some once and went and ran once, and everything was pretty good. Took a couple minutes to break in, and then the tires really picked up their pace. And then for the rest of the run, it was just game on.
So usually one of the first big races of the year is CRC. You know, in the past you've won there quite a bit. Obviously a lot of competition usually shows up, so it's a good battle. But last year was a little different. A lot of guys were on slick tires. In previous years, a lot of treaded tires, even low tread, but still treaded tires. How do you feel about running slicks versus treaded tires, and kind of where do you stand on all that, and you know, where do you see things kind of progressing and moving?
Yeah, I guess technically still be in 2019 Columbus at the beginning of the year. Yeah, we started out on treads just like normal, and kind of all of a sudden, beginning qualifying, I think it was like Q2, Q3, something like that, started to switch over to slicks. Kind of caught pretty much all of us off guard, so it was kind of a scramble to get all the tires ready to go. And then there was just absolutely insane grip. That track always has a lot of grip, and once we put slicks on, it was just absolutely insane. But no, it was fun. You know, slicks is a lot of work getting the tires sanded down, but once you get them sanded down, it's, you know, it is what it is, and you know, I think the tires kind of almost last longer. When you have treads, you kind of have to break them in, get them into a certain point, and then save them because they're probably only going to be at that, you know, optimum point for a couple runs. So yeah, I mean, it's definitely hard for, you know, a lot of customers, I think, to take a brand new set of tires and sand them down to slicks and justify it. But I think at the end of the day, the tires almost end up lasting longer. But yeah, it's hard to say. I mean, it's kind of hard to not be on slicks when, you know, every race I've been at this year, you sand them down and you go faster. So unless someone in the tracks can find a way where it's slower, it's going to be slicks, I think, from now on.
What do you think, you know, when you are using slicks at these events? I tell people lots of times that we built the cars to want a lot of traction.
Yeah.
And the cars are built sort of to run on a condition that's in between carpet and high prepped, high traction dirt.
Yeah.
And the better that the cars work better, the more traction that they have.
Yep.
And so it's not really a surprise that we're running into these conditions where you need the extra traction from slicks, but really the cars are starting to depend on the track and the tires being in that configuration, right?
Yeah, like I said, once that one person, two people go out there on slicks, you know, it's usually pretty sketchy because there's usually a lot of dust on the track still. And then once people start seeing that, and then more and more people switch over, it instantly becomes just way faster for everyone. Once everyone switches over to slicks, I think it's almost easier to drive for people. Obviously, when there's a lot of dust out there, it kind of gets a little bit sketchy here and there. But yeah, I think it makes for closer racing because, you know, when it gets to slicks, there's that much grip, and everyone can just drive to the pace of the vehicle, to the pace of the track. So I think it makes racing a little bit more tough. There's not as much, I don't know, you can't really kind of like hustle the car around quite as much on slicks. It's more just about carrying speed. But I mean, it's just the way the industry is heading now, and yeah, I mean, it's just something a little bit different.
Yeah, and you know, obviously we got the carpet side of things too, where we do run pin tires in carpet, ironically, but it's the same feel of the cars. It has a lot of grip because it has pins on the carpet, and it's just, to me, it's in general is the way we've designed the cars now and the way things are moving is they just work better hand in hand when everything has that grip.
Yeah, for sure.
And people are becoming used to that, and they want to show up and they want to have it almost immediately because that's what makes them feel like they can drive the track.
Yep. Yeah, it's just the industry's changing, and just kind of have to adapt with it. I mean, it's just different. You know, I mean, I know some people prefer, you know, treads over slicks and vice versa, but I mean, at the end of the day, you know, it's just the way that the industry is headed, and it's fun. It's just different.
So, you know, and then you just ran the Worlds, which was ironically completely different than anything we've ran on in years. We ran the pin style tires at the Worlds, and you know, it was still the same guys battling for the wins and the overall, but it made the driving a little bit different. But I think also the size of the track there was just very, it was just huge.
Yeah, it was a very unique surface. It was almost kind of like chalky on top, so you could kind of run your finger along the surface and it would kind of like draw a line a little bit like chalk. And then yeah, we were running, you know, soft tires with pins and open cell foams, and it was a lot different. I mean, I don't think any of us have really been running on that since like rear motor days. So it was kind of a little bit of a challenge to get the cars set up for that, because that's kind of the opposite direction, you know, we've been going in. But no, it was a lot of fun. It made for some really challenging racing. I think people were more, especially in two-wheel drive, just in survival mode out there. The track was huge, the lap times were long, and there was not very much grip out there. So everyone was just kind of trying to hang on to it, you know, hustle the car around the track, and just not hit any pipes or keep doing donuts when you hit the banana peels.
All right, well, let's get the four-wheel back out there again. We got one run in, usually the second run in on these tires. They start working really good. Let's see, maybe we can crack into the 15-second lap range. You got a really quick 16 that last first run, so we'll see how it goes.
21.7. 16.3. 37.4. 35.4. 16.5.
All right, we got the four-wheel off the track now. Back on the two-wheel. Learn anything after the second run of the on the four-wheel, and how did the run finish up with that car?
Yeah, four-wheel, the car got a little bit better. Second run tires, but stayed pretty much the same. And yeah, I was able to put down some consistent laps and got into the 15. So happy.
Yeah, I mean, the four-wheel seemed like, even when we're here for the JConcepts race, your four-wheel seems, you get a little bit of, it seems like with the four-wheel here, you got a little bit of space in the laps compared to two-wheel. Sometimes two-wheel be almost as fast as four-wheel, depending on the track, but here it seems like you've been able to pull a nice little gap, and even today, down into the 15s with it, and 16.5 with the two-wheel, so it's got a little bit of gap here. There must be something about this surface or jumps that really favor four-wheel drive.
Yeah, I think normally here, like when we're here for the JConcepts race too, I think there was like a pretty good margin between two-wheel and four-wheel. But yeah, I don't know exactly what it is, but yeah, I mean, both the cars are good. The tires have been working really good, and just getting some laps.
All right, Dakotah, so we're gonna talk a little bit about your still your racing history here a little bit. We got the 8-scale buggy here in front of you. Over the years, this class has been really good to you as well. I mean, e-buggy, e-truggy, nitro truggy, nitro buggy. You've won a lot of races over the years, and tell us about getting this new 8X out on the track. And we brought out a special body here today. We designed a new JConcepts body for the 8X, and we brought a prototype rear wing we wanted to throw out there too, and we got this all mounted up. And how's your experience in 8-scale?
Yeah, I got an 8-scale quite a few years. I think it was like five or six years later after I started with 10-scale. And, you know, just had the normal problems people have with tuning motors and, you know, finishing races and stuff like that. But, you know, always had a lot of fun with it, and started to kind of get into it pretty quickly, seriously, and took off. And yeah, I really enjoyed it. I've had, you know, some good success. I TQ'd a lot of races, and you know, had some bad luck here and there in the mains, but you know, keep pushing forward. And the 8X has been an awesome addition to the program. We've really been working with it hard, got it figured out, and this year was a great year with the car, and excited to go into 2020 with it and try out this new body.
Yeah, I mean, it's something we kind of brought here, you know, kind of during this special weekend we're having here, doing a little debut here with you. But what do you think of the body itself and getting this thing out there, and looking forward to giving it a shot?
Yeah, the body looks absolutely awesome. Has some really sweet little features and lines to the body. So excited to get out there, get some lap times with the body, see how it feels on the track, and yeah, just get some time in the car, get some time with the tires, and it's been a little bit for me for nitro and just A-scale in general. So excited to get back out there.
We talked a little bit about how you guys have you're doing a lot of wing testing during last year. Yep. Or 2019, and going into 2020. You know, you mentioned you kind of wanted to, you know, stabilize some of the things that you're running. And you know, you guys have been a little bit here and there on different wing setups. Yep. And heights and parts of just setting up the car in general. And talk to us about what you see here with the new rear wing that, you know, we should be able to get on the track here this year at like the Nitro Challenge.
Yeah, the wings have been a huge thing with just cars in general. And 8-scale, we've really been doing a lot of testing lately. And yeah, kind of just figuring out what I like personally and what, you know, kind of the general public likes. And it's kind of mismatched and all over the place. You know, just trying to find a wing that has good grip, jumps good, you know, is super stable, you know, easy to drive. And this new wing has a lot of adjustability here. Looks like it's good. The wicker bill, it comes with the wicker bill, and then you can also cut it off for a little bit less grip and you know, maybe jump through the air a little bit better. So excited to get out there and try it. Looks like a pretty good design, and yeah, just excited to get out there.
All right, so we just finished up the second round of qualifying here at the club race at RC Clubhouse, and we wanted to try a couple different compounds here tonight. We started with your Aquas, which was your favorite thus far. We switched over to the Silvers here for round 2, and what was the results?
Yeah, I think it kind of depends on the track conditions a little bit. I think for me, I'm a little bit more comfortable with the Aquas. I have a lot more time on them. Like I said, I've been running them here quite a bit, just in, you know, practice and stuff. I think that they are a little bit safer. I think they're maybe not quite as consistent with the changing track conditions as the Silver compound is. The Silver compound makes a lot of grip, and is, I think, going to be more consistent as the day goes on and the track changes and stuff. But I think right now I've been liking the Aquas, and gonna stick with that, and you know, get a little more run time on the Silver, see how they change as more runs get on them, and just keep on learning.
So we got the two cars equipped here. We talked earlier about how you're preferring the S-type wing on the 4-wheel, and the carpet and turf wing, we'll call it, high clearance on the 2-wheel, which has been making its way onto the dirt scene all year long, really. We call it carpet and turf wing because of the clearance necessary on the rear tires, but the downforce has been working well on our outdoor dirt conditions all around. So tell us about that balance here and what you're preferring here today.
Yeah, for me, wings are all just about, you know, what I'm most comfortable with and what flows best, you know, with the car for my driving style. And I started out with the S-type wing on the 4-wheel and kind of messed around with the gurney on, the gurney off, you know, putting some holes in the back. And the best combination I found so far with the 4-wheel is just cutting the gurney off and then just kind of leaving it flat with no holes or anything like that. I tried the carpet wing on there and didn't like it quite as much, but it's still, you know, pretty close. Just that comfort was just, you know, not quite there. And then with 2-wheel, I've been liking the carpet wing. I just cut the wicker a little bit up above where the line is, just to kind of get a little bit more grip into the car. And it's been awesome. It drives really well, flows really well with the F2 body and the front wing.
So talk to us. You talked there about the front wing. So what's your front wing setup? I noticed you went shock tower wing on the 2-wheel, and you're like front of the shock tower on the 4-wheel.
Yeah, for 2-wheel, I normally prefer the wing up high on the tower. For me, I think it's more stable steering throughout the track, whether it's high speed, low speed, or medium speed. I think that the down low wing really gives a lot of steering low speed when you come into those 180s and jam on the brakes. So for me, I like the predictability and the ease of the wing up high and 2-wheel, and then 4-wheel. Just getting that wing down low just really helps to get me in those and out of those 180s really quick.
All right, well, I want to take the opportunity to thanks so much for joining JConcepts here. It's been a great time here. A long time coming to get you back on a JConcepts team. And when you were really young, I remember you guys used to run some of the bodies. You'd win some JIT certificates. Your mom would send them in. We got some free bodies. It's funny, but
yeah, you're bringing it back.
Yeah, that's a long time ago, but it's great to have you here on JConcepts. We appreciate you taking the time. We want to thank your sponsors here on your cars. You got some great decals here, and we spent some time today getting these things detailed out, and Bradley Fine Line was nice enough to bring these bodies out. And tell us about your sponsors, and we'll wrap this thing up.
Yeah, I'm super excited to be working with JConcepts, all the team for next year. Everything's been awesome so far. Seems like a great team, really good products, and just excited to get a little bit more time under my belt, learn about the tires and the bodies and the wings and just all the accessories, and just keep on improvement. Thanks to all my other sponsors, TLR, Trinity, JConcepts for the 2020 and beyond season, Spectrum, Horizon Hobby, Stick It One, Lunsford, Bradley Fine Line. Huge shout out to him for driving up here to drop the bodies off, MIP, Live RC, and just all my family and all my supporters, just for all the support over there. I really appreciate it.
All right, well, thanks, Dakotah, and we'll see you on the track, and good luck this year, and thanks for doing this.
Thank you.